This is me testing the microphone. The microphone. Yeah, well, I would say that thing's working pretty well. What's up, Internet? Robert Teagarden here today with another Teagarden Tech Review. Yeah! Today, we are talking about a unidirectional condenser microphone from Neewer. It's the NW-81. I'm starting to think this NW thing has to do with the newer. I don't know. You tell me what you think about that, with that phenomenon there. If you haven't heard, Neewer is a company that is available primarily through Amazon. And it's like a white label company. If you don't know what a white label is, I'm not talking about Johnny Walker. I'm talking about companies that buy other products, put their name on it, and then sell it through their own branding efforts. Neewer is a cheaper alternative to a lot of the different type of camera gear that you might be familiar with. Sometimes they get a negative connotation because, well, you know, they're cheaper stuff. But I'm here to tell you, I've had some experience that tells me that they are taking the exact same products. There's some very popular name brand names and packaging them up in their own products for a much lesser price. Only for your benefit. How do I know this? Well, there was one time where we bought what we thought was a Zhiyun V2, the camera crane gimbal thing, only to receive a Neewer product.
Huh. NW crane. That's not what we ordered.
Furious, we got up, went to Best Buy, bought the V2 directly from Best Buy, took it home, and curious, I went and did an exact side-by-side comparison of the two products to the serial number. The Neewer crane was the exact same thing as the Zhiyun V2. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sold on the products. I have several. I've talked about them a few different times on this channel. And now, today, I am here talking to you about audio again, specifically this unidirectional condenser microphone. Why? Why are we talking about this? Well, as you may or may not know, if you get within 3 feet of your camera and you have an onboard shotgun mic like a Rode Video Mic Pro or a Video Mic Mini, then your audio tends to be fairly decent. However, if you get further away from said camera, well, let's just say that it's not very good. Here's an example of this when I was several feet away and before I knew what the fuck I was doing. Check out this audio. What's up, Internet? My name's Robert Teagarden. Today I want to give you my follow-up review on the Leaf board. As you can tell from that brief clip, it's definitely not as clean as this audio is here, and so I went on a hunt to try and figure out how could I rectify this situation, and I'm a little bit further from my camera than I would like to be, especially within range of the microphone, and I've got this mic set up. Let me get a little cell phone video here to drop in and show you exactly what my setup looks like, shall we? Hang on one second. So this is me filming. That's my light right there. That's the camera, and then that is the Neewer condenser microphones. Look, it's like a little pencil deal. It's a guitar case. That's the microphone, and that's me. That's me filming me. Weird, right? So that's the setup I got going on right now. And so when I started to do this a little bit more distant setup, I used this unidirectional condenser microphone to get better audio. And it was such a great deal and it's been functioning so well for me, I decided I'd hook you guys up and tell you what's going on, because for under 30 bucks, you can have a pretty slammin' audio setup that's very affordable, very easy to work with, and something I really, you know, want to provide a little value and tell you about. This is what the box looks like. You can see that it gives you all of the appropriate information as well as a lovely picture of what this microphone looks like. This thing comes with the cable. Cable is pretty long. I think it's about 25 feet, which at first is something that I'm mildly irritated about. I definitely would get a shorter cable, maybe 1.5 to 3 feet, just to get something that's a little bit closer to your camera. However, I do appreciate the fact that they gave me a longer cable option, really because at this point I'm not using this, but if I ever boom in a microphone over to a subject that's far away from a camera, then that cable is going to be coming in pretty handy there, pretty handy. It also is, the cable itself and the mic itself is mono. So the cable that they give you is a mono plug, meaning it only comes in on one side, the left side of your stereo recording camera. The other thing to know is that they give you an adapter to go into a 3.5mm plug. My camera and most cameras have that 3.5mm plug, so you would just need to use that adapter if you're not using a field recorder. If you're using a field recorder like the Zoom H4n or the Tascam, the good news there is that if you're not using a XLR plug, the phone plug, the 1/4" phone plug, requires a mono input, which is great because this mic already has that setup done for you. So using a field recorder and or your camera, you're good to go. Really out of the box, you have everything you need in order to plug this mic into an audio source, whether that's your camera or an external field recorder. It also comes with this mic condom. Yeah, I realize that it's not really called a mic condom. It's a pop filter and a windscreen, but you know, mic filter's a lot funnier, so. And it also comes with 2 different mic clips. One is a cold shoe, so you can mount on top of a camera or on a friction arm if you want to. And the other one is so that it can mount onto a mic stand or a boom pole. So both things are taken care of right there for you. This thing is battery operated. It takes a AA battery. I've used it quite a bit that way. Apparently it gets up to 26 hours of operating time. One thing I will say is please be careful and turn off the mic because it's very easy to not turn it off and then, you know, you roasted a battery. I use rechargeable batteries, so really it's not that big of a deal for me, but if you are one that doesn't, you're gonna be making a lot of trips to 7-Eleven or whatever your local convenience store might be called. So now a couple of things that aren't so fantastic. People complain about the build quality with this thing, which I don't really understand. I haven't mentioned this yet, but the price of this on Amazon is $25. When you compare this to a Sennheiser or a Rode microphone that's marketed to be an equivalent of this, some of them are between $800 to $1,000. 25 bucks is a bargain. If you're complaining about build quality for a $25 microphone, I don't really understand what you're doing with that. Are you hammering nails? This isn't to build a home, it's to have a cheap option to get decent quality audio. Build quality to me is not that big of a deal. Take care of your stuff and it'll take care of you, okay, dingus? And as I mentioned, although this is a mono plug and it gives you the 1/4" as the cable, but it also gives you a 3.5mm adapter, if you end up using this cable, you may just want to be cautious of the fact that it has to be plugged in well, and if you don't have a headphone jack so that you can hear the audio as you're recording, you may just want to periodically check in to make sure that it hasn't gone awry. This really hasn't been an issue for me at all, but I just want to be sure that I mentioned that for you guys. It's a heavy phone plug and you're putting an adapter on there, so that's never an ideal situation. If you have to use the adapter, just be sure that the audio is fine, that there's no static and the connection isn't poor. And then last thing, like I said, it is a mono mic, which works well for outside field recorders, but on a camera, it's sometimes a pain. If you're not used to recording with a mono microphone, it's a very easy thing to fix, especially if you're working in Premiere. You literally just have to go over to the effects tab, find the fill right with left or fill left with right in the audio effects portion, and just drag that on top of your audio. Simple and plain. If you haven't actually seen it, I did a whole tutorial, like a 3 quick tip, T-Garden quick tip, just enough to see if it feels good. Tutorial on how to work with audio, and you can nest the regions or export, and so you don't have to copy and paste that same effect over to multiple audio clips. The other thing I will say that has been very helpful to me, as you recall when I popped in that little cell phone video, I put up a sound curtain or like a moving blanket or something behind my mic source. This doesn't really affect the mic itself because it's so unidirectional that it's pointing directly towards me. It's not picking up much of the ambient noise. However, if I'm in a room and I'm talking into a wall, there's nothing that's dampening the sound itself. That is gonna bounce back and forth between the 2 walls. Again, it's not the mic itself, it's just the way that the audio is going to bounce through a specific room. That's why you always see those foam pads up in studios, in music studios. It's because it's just absorbing the reverberation in a space so you don't have this bouncing back and forth. That's really the problem that I had in that video that I showed earlier, that little clip. That's why the audio sounded so poor. But I put up this sound sound blanket so that I'm talking into a dead space, and it's been very helpful both in the YouTube and my professional projects that I've done with this microphone. So that's it, guys. This mic I think is an incredible bargain. For 25 bucks, maybe 30 if you pick up an additional cable, you've got some pretty good audio that's coming from a microphone that, if you take care of it, is gonna last a damn long while. I've used this, like I said, on the channel several times, and I've also used it in professional shoots that I've done, and the audio has come out great. I had to do the little fill right with left, but you know what? No one was the wiser. I definitely saved a ton of cash on doing this thing, $25 as opposed to $800 to $1,000. Look, I'm a husband, I'm a father of 2 little kids that are eating me out of house and home, and I don't want to spend the money that I don't have to. And this thing is proving to me that I don't have to spend $1,000. I can spend this 25 bucks on Amazon, link down below, and you guys can benefit from the same thing that I have found now that I put this out in the interwebs. All right, guys. Robert Teagarden Tech Review in the wrap, the Neewer NW-81. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you think that somebody might like it, maybe share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to this damn channel, because there's some fantastic stuff that's coming out of it. Not just my opinion, it's the opinion of everyone else. All right, guys, Teagarden out of this motherfucker.